everybody, welcome to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the bit. We got a long build Banshee video today. We got clutch basket, some powder work, some ride work, a little bit of instructions. That way you guys got a how-to. Really appreciate you guys watching these videos. See if you can watch it as far as you can, if not all the way through. There's lots of information, some entertaining stuff, some funny stuff, and of course you always got the ride time. So without further ado, we're going to get into this baby and get her going. You start off with disassembly fun. Always got to start at the beginning. Start ripping this thing down. Tires, suspension, swing arms, seeing how it's getting powdered. Got Tony over to help tab team this thing, get her done quicker. Of course, I get stuck on a cotter pin right away. Thing snaps off at both ends, so I've got to address that later on down the road. Not gonna bother putting that in the video, but yep, here's it. Like I said, entertaining things, fun things, haha. Yep, this broke, that broke. What else is next? Tag team suspension. Get this swing arm off of here. This thing is pretty. Full custom swing arm. Tubing. It's getting pulled off. That way it's got blue swing arm. No longer spray painted black. Tie it all in. Make the colors match. It's one thing about these builds, when you do them, you want to tie all the colors in, make it look like it's supposed to be. You get weird oddball things popping around, and it just makes the bike just not look right. And yes, that look right there was the lock nut was finger tight, and the main nut holding the axle together needs a hammer and a monkey wrench. But we get that broken free. See, funny. The monkey wrench, get those things off, big hammer, one comes right off. And we got some high speed, get this stuff apart. Tony trying the old haha, my sneaker will knock it out method, but in the end we need a dead blow to knock that axle out. And continue on pulling the swing arm. Got Delrin bushings in the swing arm. Whoever cut them, they were a little on the tight side, so we had to use a big old hammer and punch and knock the swing arm pivot bolt out. But we got it out. Get the carrier out till we got a bare swing arm. Rigging on the powder. This part would over tighten to the point that it broke multiple times and the dude sunk the screws into the plastic. You don't need to be that heavy handed. We went and got a billet component, put it on there. These things seal on the inside. There's an O-ring. They don't seal on the face. It doesn't matter how tight that is. After I get it off, we'll show you guys that, yep, there's just a lip. It's got an O-ring that seals on the inside. Does not seal on the face, so make sure that the inside's clean, the O-ring's good, and then it won't leak. It's pretty much that simple. Luckily, we got a nice new billet one. It came with a new O-ring, so we don't have to worry about that leaking anymore. Continuing on. Got a slotted drain screw that had to be slotted because this has an aluminum billet cover that hits that drain screw, so it had to be ground down so that it cleared. It had to be slotted. You leave the cap on and you pull the drain screw. That way the water doesn't come out. Once you pop the top, the water will start draining out and the coolant will start draining. So before you do any real work, you got to pull the clutch cover so you drain the coolant out. And continue on. Figure I'd do a little demonstration here. Show you guys. You pull the screw out. I'll show you how screwed up the screw is. But as you can see, there's no fluid coming out because I have not popped the radiator cap yet. Once you pop the radiator cap, all the fluid will come out. Cooling systems are sealed, so as long as there's no way for air to get in, then the fluid's not gonna come out. Really appreciate you guys watching these videos as long as you do. Remember, there's entertainment and all kinds of stuff through these videos, so we'll be getting into how to sync carburetors and how to redo a Hinson clutch basket. A couple other little neat tricks too. So keep an eye, keep on watching. Really appreciate it. I also have a rather large library of videos on the channel, so you might want to turn around and check them out also. That hose actually hits the exhaust, so the hose actually needs to be cut back a little bit. That metal spring's supposed to be a heat shield, but it's not where it needs to be either. These are the little things that you find when you go through somebody else's build. I did the port work on the cylinders. Somebody else put the motor together. But that rubs right there. If you cut it back about a 1/2 inch, it'll pull that elbow back and it won't hit anymore. Simple enough. Alright, a little zippy with the gun. Get all the screws out of the clutch cover. Sometimes they take a little pop, sometimes they don't take a little pop. Always got to make sure you get them all the way unscrewed. I like taking the screws out. That actually had 2 Allens on the bottom. We replaced those with regular 8 mils. And zip apart the clutch. Remember, when you're taking that clutch nut off, don't pull the plates out yet. Knock that lock tube back. Tab. Knock that lock tab back. Get on there with a gun. Wait a minute. That's not supposed to happen. Somebody forgot to tighten the crank nut. Interesting. Well, apparently the Banshee's better at playing basketball than I am, because I probably would have made it on the ground if I dropped the nut in that basket. But, yep, okay, so we'll take a little peek at this. The gears are pushed back. Yeah, that's not good. Alright, so, something else to fix? Either way, yep. Well, put the nut back on there, make sure it's good and tight, and move on. Kind of wanted to look at that's the water pump bearing or water pump gear in my hand. Wanted to make sure that was okay. Keyway seems to be okay. Water pump gear is okay. Nuts okay. It was just loose. Happens. Ate a hole in the clutch cover. That's always fun. Whoops. Yeah. Whoops. Oh well. So yeah. Knock the washer flat. Remember, put some pressure on the clutch plates. You don't need a specialty tool. Hit it with the hammers on the impact. Sometimes it gets stubborn. Got to do it a few times. Comes off. Pull it all apart. The basket's what's getting the new stuff, so we'll take the basket and set it off to the side. This nut, well, we'll hit that with a gun, crank it back down, and we won't worry about it no more. It's pretty. Inside's clean. Clutch cover, not so much. This is supposed to be a fresh build, but that does not look like a fresh build. That looks like it got flushed. Somebody spun the clutch a little bit at least. But the basket, on the other hand, is in horrible shape. The rubber bumpers behind that plate are wore slap out. That should not be loose like that. That's bad. So we've got a nice new Hinson basket to go in it. We just need to grind the rivets off of the current basket so that we can get that metal plate off. We need to get that ring gear off of there because the ring gear gets replaced, or actually the ring gear gets placed on the new basket. The new baskets do not come with the ring gear. So after you're done grinding all the pieces off, you grab your flathead screwdriver, pop the metal plate off. When I say pop, chances are it's going to do that. Then you turn around, grab your ring gear, empty all the crap out of it, flip it over, put it on the new clutch basket, put the rubber bumpers in. The rubber bumpers do seem to be like they were punched in a direction, so try and make sure they all face the same way. I didn't see a top and bottom. I just tried to make sure they were all pointing the same way because it had a little bit of a taper on the bottom. Put the plate on, put the screws in, crank screws down. There, you have an assembled clutch basket. Now you just turn around, put it back on the bike. This one, on the other hand, we had to swap out the shifter. I was being foolish trying to sneak the shifter past the Nerf bar. While I did manage to get the shift shaft past the Nerf bar, I recommend taking the Nerf bar off. It was a lot easier to get it back in afterwards. I did not see much of a difference between the two shift shafts, between one was new and one was not, but I swapped spring over to the new one. And away we go. Put it back in the motor, put everything back together, and continue on with the build. This spring is tricky. You really got to kind of finagle with it. it fits on the tab. You use a flathead screwdriver, you try and force it over so that it splits the tab. And with the new shift shaft in place, clutch basket in. This is a little bit later video because I forgot to video the clutch basket being put together. So here you go, clutch basket being put in the motor. Typical clutch basket. Put the basket in, put the washer in, put the inner clutch hub in, stack your plates that have been soaking, fiber metal, fiber metal. Once you get your plates stacked in place, turn around, put that lock washer in, put the nut on. The lock washer has two little fingers. The two little fingers go on either side of a tab that's in the clutch hub. Make sure it's in the right spot so that that washer doesn't spin. Put the nut on, put pressure on the clutch plates, make them hammers sing. Don't want to crank it really, really hard, but at least hit the hammers for a good 1, 2, 3 seconds. Turn around, make sure everything's okay, it all looks right. Get in there and bend the tab over so it locks down in place. While we're here with the gun, we're going to tighten that nut up. Remember, that's the one that fell off. Now, I do not recommend using a lady finger bar to bend the tab over. I don't recommend using a flathead screwdriver. I've seen people use pliers. I don't have a demonstration of that. I use ladyfinger bars and flatheads, and I'm extremely careful. I have cracked baskets. I have broken baskets. It does happen. If I would change my technique, it would probably not happen anymore. After 35 years of doing this, you kind of get in habits, and go mode is go mode. Now that is the clutch adjuster. That screw, the nuts, they need to be lined up. They fit inside the pressure plate. Once you get everything together, you tighten that inner screw down so that the clutch lever has just a hair bit of play. Lock the lock nut down, it's set. Make sure that the pressure plate is on the right spot. It can be put on wrong. It needs to sit flush against the fiber plates. Now, throw the springs in, throw the screws in, crank it down like any other clutch job. Now I am going to say this with these tower screws. I use a T-handle. I do it by hand. I hold the T-handle in the center so it has very little torque. If you are heavy-handed with a wrench, use a torque wrench on these because these towers will snap off and it'll cost you a clutch basket. So, if you don't want to get too heavy-handed on these, it's very light torque. Here we are locking that nut down, getting it all set. That way the clutch will be pre-adjusted. You fine-tune it up at the lever with the adjuster up there, you're good to go. You want to have about a nickel's worth of play in between the perch and the lever. That way you have a little bit of play in the lever and the clutch will always engage until you wear it out and it no longer engages. Alright, so now once we got that all set, turn around, put the clutch cover back on. This is the typical rest of the engine build. Put the covers on, tie the hoses in. There's that real pretty little billet cover we got. Replace the plastic one in the beginning. Remember guys, we got riding in the back time of the video, so keep on watching. We got carburetor sync time. Yeah, these are the pods on the back of the crappy Lectrons. No, I do not like Lectrons. No, I will not sell Lectrons. It came with Lectrons, and I have to deal with it. Other than that, we got PVC tubing in there. I thought it was really restrictive. Come to find out, it lines up with the back side of the Lectron carburetors pretty well, and it wasn't as restrictive as I thought. But at the same time, these carburetors are not in sync. Right hand carburetor comes up before the left hand. Watch. See it moving? Other one not moving? That's bad. You've got multiple adjustments in the cable, so we're going to address the cable and see exactly what we need to do to adjust these. Do we have wide open? We do have wide open. That's a benefit. Some of these things, when you change carburetors or cables, you don't get full throw of the throttle. So at least these work. They go wide open, but we got the one winky. So we got to adjust the cables. We're going to adjust them up here until we get the Winky to go away. This is a back and forth process. I like going about a half turn, 1 turn at a time, see how far off it is. If it's really far off, sometimes you gotta go 3-4 turns. You guys are gonna see in a little bit that I had to go to extremes to get this thing to work at the same time. One all the way in, one almost all the way out. So you gotta do what you gotta do to get it to work correctly. It's not always a matter of spec, it's a matter of how far it's gotta go to work the way you need it to. And voila! We have working carburetors, working in sync, in succession, as you can see, 1 in, 1 out. It happens, it is what it is, doesn't matter, it works. So, here you go, we got some ride time. As you can see, yeah, no, sounds pretty good. Not as restrictive as I thought it would be. This is the first time after I've gotten it back together it's fired up and ran, so I did forget one minor little detail before this ride. See if you can tell me what I forgot before you get to that part of the video. It says what I forgot. But I'll be quiet so you can hear this thing purr. I'm gonna step in here a little on the lower side and remind you guys, I didn't build this, I didn't tune it, I didn't mess with the carburetor adjustments at all. I was told it was right, and I'm finding out that it doesn't run the best. So I was expecting it to run a lot better. So as you can see when I come around this next corner, I'm looking and trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And after a quick inspection, we forgot to turn the gas on. Runs a lot better when you got the gas on, that's for fact. Really love how these things sound. Get her out on the track. Find out exactly how squishy this suspension is. This motor is definitely built from mid to top end. It is not a bottom end torque motor. Soft suspension.
See that power band, you hear it? It picks up.
Not enough room to stay in the power band on this thing. Lots of wheel spin, lots of wheel spin. I thank you all for watching the video all the way through. I'll see you in the next one. Really appreciate it.